Hello, hello. Hope you're well. Happy October. As Beard Guy says, it's October, October 1st. Happy October. Happy Bandcamp Friday. Glad to be here. Glad to make another Bandcamp Friday. It's become, I don't know, just like a really fun event. But Beer Guy, how are you? I hope your week was well and that you got into it. Marauder Music, good to see you. What's going on? Happy Bandcamp Friday. Happy October. And today is Bandcamp Friday. It is an amazing time for musicians around the world. If you have access to the internet, it is an amazing thing to be able to participate in. And I don't know if Bandcamp really understands kind of what they created with this whole Bandcamp Friday thing, this sort of signpost to shoot for. Incredible event. So we're going to take a look today at a bunch of, a bunch of new music, a bunch of existing music. But we're going to start with the new music that people have released, people in the bandless community, and a little bit more people sort of on the periphery of the bandless community, people that I'm maybe connected to through social media and all that kind of stuff. We will, we're going to get through as many profiles as possible. And, we usually go for about 2 hours. So I'm just remembering here that I almost forgot somebody. There we go. Great. Bandcamp. There you go. Fantastic. Cool. So we got a bunch of stuff lined up here for today. We're going to switch the camera view here. We're on a totally different setup. So I'm streaming this from home. I brought some of my stuff from the studio, and I kind of like the setup. I kind of like the way it looks, but the screen is even smaller. So, I have to sort of toggle between screens. So, bear with me as I kind of navigate this whole Bandcamp or this whole internet streaming thing. What page are we going to land on first? Very first thing that we're going to talk about thanking the people that help the bandless community be. We've started putting content up there. Where is, OBS. There's a bunch of folks who help out with the whole, funding of things and the development of content and all these sorts of things, and hopefully so that we can do more in the future. I'd really like to bring back the regular live stream, like the weekly live stream with the commenting and all that stuff. That was really great. Not sure how or when I can do that, but it's something I want to bring back. Anyhow, thank you to everyone with us over at the Bandless Patreon. They're the people who have brought you this episode or this everything. Next up on the docket is in the bandless world. If you haven't sort of seen it, we have started putting up produced content of how to, like, tutorials and these sorts of things. There's a bunch more to go up. There will be an episode going up this week. I'm not sure what day, but the people in the Patreon will see it first. And then it will, a day or two later, it will show up on the Bandless YouTube channel. And the one that we have up there is how to make a Bandcamp header. In the spirit of this whole Bandcamp thing, if you're looking to make a Bandcamp header like what the Bunn has, mine links out to my website, to all the stuff on my website. But you could have it link out to all of your social media or other places on the internet, you know? So styling your header for your Bandcamp is very advantageous in terms of making it feel more like a website. If you're closer to the beginning and you're like, I don't want to make a full website, but I do want to have a presence on the web, this here edition of the bandless produced videos, bandless tutorials, I guess, shows you how to do that. There were a few people talking about how some of the terminology and some of the things we went through were a little too advanced. So we are going to be covering more graphics for musicians. And exactly how to do things. I'll take people through how to do things, and we will use free software in order to do the tutorials. So it will prove that anybody has access to doing it. We're going to use the GIMP, but the process will be the exact same no matter what software you use, whether you use the GIMP, Affinity, Photoshop, Corel, Photo, whatever, Corel Draw, doesn't matter. So we're going to get into more of that if you're kind of worried about that stuff. You're like, oh, I don't get it. I need to know more. Well, we will know more. Oh, interesting how it goes blank like that when I switch cameras. That's interesting. Anyhow, before we get into the Bandcamp stuff, I just want to see who's here and say hello and all of that stuff. Lots of comments. Holy jumping. Yeah, like I say, for those of you just joining us, smaller screen even still today, so we're toggling applications and such to keep up with it all. But hello, Beard Guy and Marauder Music. The first I've already said hello to you guys, but we'll start at the beginning. Beard Guy, Marauder, Anthony Nieto. Happy Bandcamp Friday. Synth Chris, always good to see you. And that's it in the chat. Just a lot of chat. Yeah, very cool to see all of you guys here. Yeah, how have you guys been having? Like, how's your Bandcamp Friday been going? I actually haven't been able to really dive into it yet. Because I've just been trying to get some stuff done. But yeah, I'm gonna get into it really tonight. You know, after the stream, I'm gonna dig into some of the new releases and whatnot. But we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna start checking out people's releases. These are going to be new releases. And then we're going to get into some existing releases from there. New or newer, like within the last couple weeks. A few people put their stuff up like a week or 2 weeks ago or so, like recently, sort of in anticipation of the next Bandcamp Friday, but they got it up in advance. So yeah, some exciting stuff. We're going to check out, who are we going to start with first? We're going to go in order of just how the tabs, I'm toggling windows here. Yeah, we need to land on bam. Okay, great. Bear with me. So many windows, so many toggles, so many buttons. And we're going to go with the bottom screen. There we go. So we're going to kick it off with Gary Hibner. And this is kind of a big deal, this one, because, you know, Gary, I don't know if Gary's been reluctant to put stuff out or anything like that, but he hasn't really put out much of his own material. He usually is, you know, doing other people's riffs and stuff like that. And he's busy making videos and, you know, doing all the stuff. So he's been talking about trying to get a track out or trying to get it together to make some music for quite some time. But he finally got some stuff out for this Bandcamp Friday. So, little round of applause for Gary. Good job on that. I wish I had an applause button and a air horn. But yeah, really good job, man. I've already listened to it a few times. And just a reminder, we don't listen to whole tunes during these band list things. We sort of skim to give you an idea of what this stuff sounds like. And then if you'd like to follow it up on your own, we share the URL. Sweet. Like I say, I'm moving around here. Bam. Yeah, really nice to see, Gary. Not going to lie. It's still playing in my headphones, but I think it's muted in the thing. So yeah, you can follow up with all of this stuff. I'm going to post everybody's links in the actual, what do you call it, in the chat. But yeah, sounds great, Gary. He's, all about the low stuff as well. So it might be unison tuning. It sort of sounds like it's unison tuning. Sounds great. It's really in the spirit of what the other music that Gary's sort of interested in and highlights on his YouTube channel. But yeah, great job. The next little jammer here, gonna line it up, gonna cue it up, and this one comes to us from a band list member. We're gonna do a couple band list members right off the top here, and this one here comes to us from Mr. Beard Guy himself. This is Bog Machine, and we just got to bring the music back up here. I might tweak with the audio levels as we go along. So, once again, bear with me. I'm toggling windows. But this is Beard Guy. He just finally got this up today. I think he finished it yesterday. Does his own art, all that kind of stuff. I've checked it out a few times. It's just got a vibe, the kind of vibe that I like to get inside of. Tells a story, that's really cool. But here we go. Yeah, I don't want to play whole tracks, but I wanted to sort of highlight how Bog Machine kind of goes through these themes and sort of like vignettes of a storyline. And I don't know, there's just something really compelling, really almost sort of romantic about that. Not romantic in a, a sexy way or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like something that you can really get inside of. Yeah, really cool. And yeah, I'm stoked to hear more. Please make more. What window am I on here? I need to toggle some applications. How's the audio? If you guys could tell me. Gonna get back to the camera here for a minute. I'm trying to sort of manage the audio so that it is kind of balanced out, but yeah. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of nice positivity on that, whatchamacallit, from the community for Beer Guys track. Chris says, the art is sick. Yeah, I really like the art as well. And Marauder Music loves the organic tone he got. Yeah, it really is. It kind of has that amp in a room sort of sound in the recording, which is actually kind of a hard sound to get. Feels very organic. It's the best way to put it. Reed is stoked. Hey, Reed. I didn't see you earlier. You probably didn't comment earlier. Oh, 13 Flies. Hello. Howdy. How are you? Hope you are well. But Bog Machine is a special man. Or is special man. Very new. It's going on. Yes, I think so as well. And the Evil Breakdown, 13 Flaws says, yeah, the Evil Breakdown is just like, whoa, things got really dark. I like it. Audio is good, Chris says. Reed Angle says, audio seems good as well. Good. Awesome. So we're going to queue up another one here. And I need to check what time it is. I think I have to juggle this around. So we will. We are going to go here first. So this one, not a newbie, new track, but everybody, I think is familiar with Mr. Chris. The synth is strong with the Chris. That's hard to say. It's a lot of... But I got to toggle back to a window here to get it going. But yeah, Chris, this is a track of his upcoming, I think, 12-song album. A lot of songs. They all sound really good. He's been working on it for a while. And this is a single off of it. So there are two versions here. There is a vocal version and an instrumental version. Really appreciate that, Chris. I personally really enjoy, instrumental music. Although the vocals in here are really good. We're going to play the vocal version. And I'm going to stop talking and we'll start playing.
Let's go!
Wow. Oh yeah, I forgot some links here. But that's crazy. I've never really heard you transition into a synth part like that, and it, I don't know, flow so right. A lot of times people kind of mix these things and it doesn't really work very well, but it seems to work really well. And yeah, really, I found that really interesting, Chris, because it went from such brutality. Oh, excuse me. I need to switch views here again. Camera. This smaller screen business is not cool. I think the way I'm going to do it in the future is I think I might use two computers where I use like a laptop and this. That might be the way to do it. There's a shortage of laptops though. Oh, that is, I got so many windows going. Here we go. So yeah, Synth Chris, crazy. That was crazy. I listened to it before, but I'm going to paste the links in here. And if I forget links, please let me know. I forgot Beard Guy's link. This is Bog Machine, the previous listen first. And I'm going to drop Chris's in there right now. So, catch up with these guys either during the stream or even after the stream or whatever, whenever you guys, get a chance, check out what the artists, other things they've done. But yeah, Chris, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And, 13 Flaws says living up to the name. Absolutely. But I think you're finding ways to do it where it's a lot smoother than it's ever been before. And, better integrated. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? Do you want to fight me because I'm saying crazy stuff? Yeah. And, Reed Engel says left turn, and it is a left turn, but it was a smooth left turn. I was really surprised by how smooth it was. Yeah, interesting. Very cool. We're going to queue up the next one here. What time do we have? What's our timing? Yeah, I think we can do it. An hour in, half an hour in. I don't know if we're going to make it all that far, but whatever. I'm going to juggle the playlist here a little bit, just by request. And this next one, this is a person who is a bandless member, but kind of a quiet bandless member. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong on that. But really great dude. But I don't think, a very vocal person in the group. And his name is Matt, and Matt Mort from Renato Quarter. His music project is called Renato Quarter. His YouTube channel is the same name. Some of you might know him from the Rogue Sub-Zero or Sub-Zero Rogue 6 demo videos. But he has some music, and he recently just dropped this track. I need to switch windows again. Great dude, cool tracks. And this one is called In the Mouth of Wolves. And I believe this is his first vocal track. cool. I'm not going to do the tasteful fades anymore just because getting back and forth between the windows is complicated. But I don't know how many of you guys know Matt Wraith a Quarter. Great dude, great sounding tunes. He's actually a VFX artist by day, by job. Creative dude, technically capable, all that kind of stuff. Very interesting. His link is in there. Okay, a bunch of you know Wraitho's stuff or Matt's stuff. The fellow, his name is Matt, and yeah. Yeah, great sounding stuff. I really like his bass sound, especially. I like all of his sounds, but his bass sound. I'm the guy who's really into the bass and the drums. I actually don't really care about guitars. I don't not care about guitars, but like I'm more excited about like bass and drums. I'm like, bass and drums, yeah. And his bass sound is just like really solid. Really like it. But I dropped his link in there, or did I? Yes, I did. Okay, great. And I'm going to queue up the next one. Yeah, the clean with the female vocal in it. Great touch. I really enjoy that a great deal. I'm going to queue up the next one. This one's kind of like fun. And what do I need to do here? I got so many windows. I keep talking about it. But how's that? There we go. Right on. So this here, Genetic Deity, this is Jared, a fellow who is sometimes with us in the band list. I'm not sure which one. He's definitely a Bunn patron, on and off whenever he kind of comes in and out with that. I seem to remember him being in the band list for a minute, maybe not. But yeah, he's got these cool tracks here, and I don't think people really know about him. He's got a cool thing about what he's doing. I need to switch windows and play it. Oh, do I want to play that one? This is the new one. I'm sorry. Gonna do a skim. Oh, I'm totally surprised. I didn't know about that track. I know about this track. So I'm going to just cut it off there because I already played the other one for so long. So yeah, I didn't really know that Jared shred like that. I didn't listen to that track. I know this track. I listened to this track, but I thought we should listen to the newest one. And yeah, dude has chops. But this is the kind of stuff that he does that I'm like, oh yeah, please give me more. It's so weird. The compositions are like really twisted and kind of interesting. And yeah, so he's a guy that's kind of around. I'm not sure how much he's involved, at least in the bandless, being a voice in the bandless ecosystem, bandless world. We got to go back here. We got to go to camera. And then we got to go to the chat way over here. I'm going to put that in there. Faceless in my car. That goes hard. Oh, man. Dude's got some chops. Yeah, he really can. I wasn't really aware of the ultra sort of arpeggio sweep action. That track just came out on the 14th, I believe. Link is in there. And what are we going to do next? We got one more here before we get back to a member. I'm kind of trying to hold back some stuff. So this one is, oh God, so many windows. Bam. So this one's a weird one. It's not very current, but I'm just sharing it for Bandcamp Friday because, I don't know, dude is awesome. And yeah, we're going to just check it out. I need more screens. Damn it. So this here is just Aiden Hiller. He is a member of the Bunn Patreon or Bunn YouTube channel. Like there's sort of like Patreon, but in YouTube there's memberships, and he's a member there. But he's a really talented guitar player and composer. And he did this thing. I'm going to just really quickly skim through this one, and then we're going to go to like one of his own tracks. But this one, he did a Forens cover out of his, just for fun, and he rebuilt the whole thing. And I'm like, wow, that is really dedicated. And it's his own way of doing it, but it's pretty close and it's pretty good. Yeah. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put the link in there. But I was just like, what? Who has time to learn that? Because my music has got a lot of modulation in it. And yeah, it moves around a lot. Anyhow, this is his own music. I could easily listen to the whole thing. There's just something about it. It's very in line, I think, with the kind of music that I make. He has his very own way of doing it, but it's very, I don't know. I listen to it and I'm inspired by it. I'm like, oh, that's like we could be in a band together. Pretty wild. Really. Yeah, I'm just like, who are you? He's a guy from Denver, Colorado. Denver, Windy City, way up there in the mountains. There, you got to play guitar or else you go crazy. let's change camera views here. Don't camera buttons. So many buttons. And back to the thing. But yeah, how many of you guys know about Aiden? Bam. Jay, how are you, man? Mr. Osho in the stream. Good to see you. ZL1 lover, I see you in there as well. Anyone else new that I have forgotten or kind of not noticed or whatever? Yeah, I don't think Aiden is actually influenced by foreigns. I think we just happen to have similar approaches to music, which is always nice. I would say there's certain things about the way that Matt from Renato Quarter does music as well that is also similar. Like there's some parallels. But yeah, Synthgrowth didn't know about him. Great. Yeah, he's a talented guy, really nice guy. And, is into like cool sounds, good gear, and not good gear, but like, the right gear and all that kind of stuff. I've seen Aiden talk about doing that cover before. Oh, shoot. Okay. That's cool. Cut from the same sheet metal. Yeah, pretty wild. But yeah, glad that some of you guys have actually heard about him because it's a shame when a talent just kind of flies under the radar. But maybe it's cool because then they swoop up like a phoenix. What are we going to queue up next here? We're going to move to this one. I don't want to do it yet because I don't see him rocking in the stream. And he's like, "Oh, can you hold out for a minute, please?" if you happen to feature my track, and I'm going to feature his track, we're going to I'm going to move it back in the thing, and we'll get around to it. So next, another bandless member here. This one, I almost missed this one, and I'm glad that I got a little reminder from the man. This is coming to us from David Hallwell. He is a cool cat in the group, and nice guy, awesome dude, making cool tunes. This is his submission for today. Thorn of the Dusk Rose. There's some cool stuff going on in there as well. Definitely a little bit of an elevation from David's last track in terms of like, it's like, seems to be narrowing down, like focusing down a bit more and getting really into the heart of the matter. I dig that. The kind of like how everything plays against the rhythms, and that there's a huge focus on melody and melodic movement. I really like that. Awesome. Very awesome. Sorry, I'm missing my spot here. Here we go. And bam, bam, bam. Nice one, David. Really dig that. And back to the chat area. Another window. God, there's so many windows. Yeah. And Marauder and 13 Flaws, Beer Guy, some Best Willies. Yeah. It's got a thing going on. It's a little mix of meshing of different sounds and bringing them together in an interesting way. I dig that. Keep making them. Keep narrowing it down. And making your ideas like completely whole. Very awesome. Oh, yeah. I love the comments. May give you a minute. Oh, yeah. Was I asking for a minute? Yeah, I was. What was that? Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And what time is it? It is 9:43. Oh, a stream. I'm seeing comments. So, this next one, I might have played a part of this track before. I'm not sure. Probably not on Bandless. Never on Bandless. Let's go to the camera setting. And there's a little bit of a story to this one. Nothing too deep, but where my studio is, there's a studio right above me and a studio sort of above and over. But the studio right above me is this guy. And this guy, his name is Brian, and he has a project called Gates. He has many projects. He's kind of like the Bunn in a way. He's sort of central in his projects, and there are people who kind of help him with various things, but otherwise, he's kind of the guy. And some of his projects are 100% solo. Gates, this particular iteration of Gates has many iterations, but this particular iteration is many people, horn section, the whole bit. It's crazy. Excuse me. But we're going to play a little bit of it, and then we'll talk about it for a brief moment. But this is what the person above the Bunn and the Bunn YouTube studio and all that kind of stuff, this is what happens the next floor up. And it's a long build, so we are going to skim a little bit. I'm sorry, Brian, if you're watching, you're not watching, so it's fine. pretty cool. And this is sort of a segment out of it. He's doing like a double album, and this is a segment out of a particular tune, Threads Bound in Lapis. And very expansive kind of music in terms of ideas as well as musically. But that's what happens above the YouTube studio. It's pretty crazy. The Bunn YouTube studio. Is that a thing? Is it a YouTube studio? It's a studio. It's my studio. But we're at home today. Right now we're at home and got Chica Chiquita's artwork as my backdrop. It's pretty sweet. But I need to change cameras. Damn it. There's too many buttons. That's the problem. There we go. And bam. And bam. So that is Gates. Oh, it didn't copy. Did we get David's in there? Yeah, it did. So we are going to go Gates, bam, bam. You'd think this would be so easy. Bam, bam. So Miles Davis in there. Yeah, there's a lot of horns in there and all that kind of stuff. Sludgy, rainy, noir vibes, industrial jazz metals. Glad horns are not being recorded above my place. No, they actually go and record a lot of the stuff in a full-blown studio. Everything is analog. I think he's done some stuff that is synth in the room above, and he works out all the guitar stuff in the room above. And he's definitely like an amp guy, so it can get pretty loud in there. On those days, I definitely am not recording YouTube videos. But yeah, gatesdrone.bandcamp.com. Cool dude, cool, making cool stuff. So hellos to a few new faces in the stream, by the way. Apoplexia, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. We got some Apoplexia queued up. And who else we got here? Mr. Osho. I think I already said hello to Osho. But Jason, how are you? Hope all is well. And SynthGrits is saying, am I using Restream or something new? I am using nothing. This is just OBS straight to the internet. Because Restream, really expensive. It just keeps getting more expensive. And I'm like, I can't really justify like kicking in the extra cash, because like cash is harder to come by these days. So your seems better than usual. Apoplexia. Yeah, I think it's really got to do with the light, the way the lighting. I'm able to get the light like really close here. Whereas when I'm streaming at my desk at the studio, I can't get the light sort of in front of me. So this really helps. Maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you guys are into the whatchamacallit, the Gates jams. That's rad. And I'm gonna queue up the next little jammer here. Bam. So let's go to our camera, and we're gonna change the camera view, and we're gonna go, bam, Apoplexia, hello. This is what we got on tap right now. We got some Apoplexia on tap. So cool little bit of a story for this is, I think, a little bit of a demo that Apoplexia did for someone, chip synth OPS 7 or OPS M8, something like that. Made with, right? Okay, I get what's going on. And from what I understand, he's in the stream right now, so he can fill in the gaps. But this is a track to demonstrate the technology, and it's modeling Yamaha DX7 algorithms and patches and such things, and it sounds really good. It's got a very analog kind of sound. Let's play it. I'm going to skip through. I'm going to drop the link, and if you like it, you can catch up with the whole track while you're watching the stream or after the stream or whenever. I definitely highly suggest checking this track out when you're done. Even if you're not an electronic music person, the way it's put together and the production value and all these sorts of things are great to kind of get inside of and pick apart and inspire you. It's a good job, Apoplexia. Yeah, great sounds. I just really love the way that it flows, the way that it goes together. I understand you were saying earlier, in an earlier sort of set of posts, how you were kind of just going for that sort of like dance floor inspired kind of arrangement. Sort of makes sense why it's so kind of like a journey to kind of, and so easy to get inside of. There's a bunch of things going on with it that kind of like it easily takes you along with it. Which is something I always sort of forget when I'm composing my own music. I get so inside of my own ideas. I'm like, oh, I want the music itself to be a story or a journey, something to get inside of and move along with. And sometimes we forget that in our own compositions. So this is a great track for that. And it sounds really good. Like, yeah, I really love this track. And let's go to camera here. Yeah, who else? Very curious to hear who else is into the heavy thing. I think we're all into the heavier stuff or some version of the heavier stuff, like, you know, guitar oriented instruments. And Apoplexia himself, you know, is a, you know, avid guitar player, producer, all these sorts of things, but he has a history with the, you know, drum and bass and jungle and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that part aside, how many of you guys are inspired by, interested in, listen to music that is very outside of the metal, the rock, whatever you call the version of guitar-oriented music that you make? I'm very interested in electronic music. I find it incredibly inspiring. I really, really still like early, you know, early Square Pusher albums like Hard Normal Daddy is like a really special record for me. when he was doing everything on the Akai sequencer and playing real bass and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And there's modern electronic music that I listen to currently a lot that I find really kind of informs what I'm doing with my guitar-oriented music. I actually don't really listen to much music that is guitar-oriented in a day-to-day basis. Mostly because I don't want other people's music to influence me that is too close to my music. Because I think as humans, one of the natures that we have, like human nature, I don't know what to call it exactly. I'm not like an anthropologist or a psychologist or anything like that, so I'm using the wrong terms. But there is sort of this nature of humans to emulate what is most familiar. And if you kind of load yourself up with, various textures and styles and tones and aesthetics, etc., you're more likely to kind of output that, whether it be on purpose or not, So I tend to listen to music and pay attention to music that is not like the music that I make, and usually quite far away from the music that I make. And I'm curious, who else does that? I need to get my window open here. And I need to, bam. Wow, the comments are moving fast. Damn it. It's not copying. Or maybe I'm just not doing it right. Highly probable. I'm not very gifted when it comes to interneting. See you, Chris. Always good to see you here, man. Always good to see you. I hope all is well. Good. Reed Engel has a great little quote here. This is like quotable for life. Guitars don't have a monopoly on heavy. Excuse me. Yeah. Ruboy Selecta. Mashuga. Hard Normal Daddy. Yeah, that's a crazy record. Synth Chris, hopping off. Yeah, man. Have a super good night. Club nights. I do enjoy a bit of Aphex Twin. Aphex Twin is a monster. Very creative. Very inspiring. And Beer Guy says, I really need music that isn't in the metal bubble, like weird outsider, but purposefully outsider, something weird that gives my mind something fresh and new to play with along side metal brutals. Well, I'm going to just the Shags. I might have brought this up before. Yeah, okay. And My Pal Foot. This is some crazy stuff. And I want the My Pal Foot video. Great. This is crazy.
Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back. Ain't much an old country boy like me can't hack.
Sorry about that. I just want the link. I don't want the video. Here we go. So outsider stuff. I was going to put it in later, but I'm just going to put it in now. Anyone who's interested in really out there, really hard to understand music. This is very intentional music. There's a whole story to this. It's very interesting. It's very weird. They're called the Shags. This tune is called My Pal Foot, and highly recommended. Sort of a sidebar to today, but if you're looking for music that is super far away from what you're doing, but somehow maybe going to inform what you're doing artistically, aesthetically, or otherwise, this might be a place that might be interesting. Just interesting. For me, what the shags do is they remind me that everything that I think about music is wrong. Not in a bad way, in a good way. That the rules that I abide by are the rules that I decide to abide by. I personally need rules, but I can sort of break those rules and I can make new rules and I can make any rules that I want. And the same is true for all of us. And the shags are a really good reminder of that. But yeah, we're going to move along. I'm going to cue it up here. Great. And yeah, how many of you guys know about the shags, and how many of you need that kind of a reminder as well? You know, what rules do I continue to follow that are working against me that would be best broken? Let's grab that and let's go to the switcher and let's go. Bam! It is Vans time. Yes, the Bunn put out a track, and Bunn puts out really short tracks. So we're going to check out this. I realized today that it's actually very similarly phrased to another Vans tune, but that's okay. Can't take anymore. It's too insane. Let's switch the camera here. But yeah, the Bunn put out a track today as well. And it was a little bit of a hustle to get it done, but I got it done sooner than anticipated, which is great. Let's change the camera. And do you recognize what tune it is similar to, if you know anything about Vans at all? Vans is not very popular, but some people do know it. So I don't know. The track is in, or the link is in there. But so we were talking about rules earlier in terms of, writing, production, creativity, all that kind of stuff. Vans is a great example of extremely tight rules. And, it is always 200 BPM. Like, I can cut the time in terms of the beat or whatever. I can play halftime. But it's always just everything is 200 BPM. Everything is diminished. And the guitars can never be fast. And every tune has to have some double kicks and some blast beats. And yeah. So, and the interesting thing about that for me, just as a person making tunes, and probably interesting to a lot of people making tunes, is when you kind of narrow things down, in these ways, and you have very little to work with, it really, I find anyway, it really forces creativity. You're like, what can I do with this? I don't know. And you just really kind of drill down on what is available to you in terms of what you can change, what you can explore. So Vans is a fun project that way in terms of really kind of pushing my personal creativity within a confined space. And yeah, I'm curious if anybody else does that. I see Aaron Maurice in there. How are you, man? I hope you are well. Very good to see you. And Osho says, very drums forward. Yeah, so sometimes people complain about Bunn music being bass and drums heavy. I'm like, guitars are not very important. Bass and drums are everything. At least for me. I love the bass and the drums far more than I like the guitars. The guitars just sort of fill everything in. The guitars are important, but I have more of a love for the bass and the drums than I do the guitar. And Marauder says, Bunn mixes are so awesome. Yeah, I didn't mix this one. This is just my demo mix, my working mix. There's no plugins on any of the guitars. It's just faders up and see you later. It is mastered though. Like it is mastered to get up to volume and just not peak. And it's basic mastering, but you know, there is some limiting there so that it's loud enough. But yeah, cool. It's a fun one. So apoplexia, okay, a couple of you guys. And do Harbor Parts 2 and 3. Apoplexia. Yeah, more foreigns riffs. Marauder Music is saying, my music does fit into a mold. The mold I carved myself. Yeah, that is the way to do it. Making a mold for your music is definitely not a bad thing. It's kind of, you know, where you get how you develop a style, how you develop a sound, how you develop a personality. And then you can further that once you've narrowed things down. And you can also expand. Once you narrow things down, I feel like it's easier to expand once you find something you're like, I love these variables. So in a way, the easier way to expand is to first narrow down. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, but it's an interesting experiment at least. Apoplexia says, my best tunes are always done with very strict limitations. Yes. I know this about you, Apoplexia, and yeah, your music has a very deep focus to it. It sounds like, you know, you have very specific intentions about what you're doing. And that's usually a reflection of rules, setting some rules for yourself. And Beer Guy is saying, absolutely, having basic tools forces your mind to get MacGyver with it and create something totally unexpected out of seemingly nothing special. Yes, and I have a love affair with that idea. You know, I have a 2-channel interface, a Reaper with not very many plugins, and yeah, I make all my tunes that way. I don't use anything too special, and I love that idea of using the least amount possible, less amount of things, least amount of things possible, and kind of pushing like, what can I make with this? How much can I make with this? Amazing. And I think that's kind of like also the magic of Bandcamp. You know, here's this simple thing. You can do a lot with it. You can create this music and get it on the Bandcamp, and with Bandcamp, you can achieve so much. And Reed is saying, I'm going to have to put some rules on myself and see what happens. Maybe some rules I'm uncomfortable with. Yeah, it's a great experiment. Start there. It's always easier to expand from a narrow idea rather than have to narrow down from a zillion options. Pick a starting point and then blossom out. I think, you know, way easier on the brain. So we got a few more here. we're gonna get on with it. These are some pals. We're gonna start with one that I might not have talked about before. Excuse me. This is Future Machines. This is a pal of mine. I mastered this stuff, but I used to have a business with this fellow, Matt, and the material. Oh, it is the mukere. Monkey. Muke. But forgive me, I was distracted by the mukere. Yeah, Matt and I, we had a business together, print and design agency. And he is a, music mastermind, plays many instruments, really is the kind of person who can read music, you can hire him, he'll show up to the gig and he'll just read the charts and he'll play it. It'll sound great. And then you'll pay him and he leaves and it's done. But this is his own music, and it's kind of mathy, kind of crazy, kind of cool. Oh. Very cool. I'm going to grab the URL right now and move cameras. So many steps. I apologize. And bam, here we go. Back to the chat. And bam, bam, bam. So that's Future Machines. Very cool music. Very, very cool music. So, what we were talking about before, if you're looking for something, like a lot of us are doing something more metal oriented, I wouldn't say that the music I make is metal. I don't really like metal. I don't identify with metal. I feel like I make music outside of metal, but it has sounds that are found in metal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Probably. But anyway, things like Future Machines, it's considered somewhere in the neighborhood of math rock, but more the European variety of math rock. Anybody who follows that scene would know what I'm talking about. He had another band called Falcon Punch that was on the Blood and Biscuits label. So anybody who's into European math rock definitely knows Blood and Biscuits. And so Matt has done projects that have been published on those labels. But great material to sort of, inspire, inform you about maybe a different approach in music. And the bass is all synth. So it's a trio: drums, guitar, and synth. Chris Pruden on drums, and currently this guy Mac on drums, but previously, oh my God, I know this guy really well. I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, doesn't really matter. I'm reading the comments. So, yeah, a few of you are into it. That's great. Oh, right, the bandless community challenge. We should talk about that in a minute. I wonder if I can screen that. It's a separate app. I think there's a way to do it. I will do a little bit of, sleuthing once we get through these. There's just a few more Bandcampers to do, and then we're going to just hang out in the chat and talk about all these cool things that we're talking about. Marauder Music is saying the one SM57 mic challenge. So record everything with just one SM57. And yeah, it'd be interesting. Like, what are the rules on that? Can you multi-track record and use a 57 on multiple sources, tracking one thing at a time? Or do you have to record like a whole performance of stuff with 157? Or is it open? I think it'd be more interesting if it was open that way. And 13.5. And Aaron is saying Fong Magic. Yeah. So Aaron drums and Fong and I. So Matt Fong is the guitar player of Future Machines. So Matt, Aaron, and myself, we had a project that we were trying to lift off the ground called Siesta. Some of you actually might be familiar with Siesta if you found my Fashion Machine page. But yeah, Aaron's on the inside of that one for sure. Marauder Music is talking about the Future Machines thing. Yeah, it's all recorded. There's no, like, the bass is a synth, so that's like fake, I guess, like fake tones, but it's going through an amp and they're recording the amp with mics. So yeah, all mics on that stuff, and it sounds really good. Matt mixed that himself, I believe. Yeah, Reed Angle, 3-piece, definitely. Jason Oshosky, metal is so broad though, right? I guess. I definitely come from more the punk side of things. I definitely always listen to metal. I had a metal phase in my life. Metal is really important to the history of my music, or history of my musicianship, my interest in music. But I would say, in terms of metal that is happening in the world right now, a lot of it really it pushes me the absolute opposite way, which is great. It naturally pushes me to doing something not like what everybody else is doing. So that's awesome. Actually, it's a huge positive. And Apoplexia says, Bandless, your music is more metal than most metal. Metal is about raw aggression and power and precision. Yeah, I think of it, more from a punk rock perspective, but in that exact same way. That, yeah. I'm not really tight about, I don't have a hate for metal. I just don't really identify with metal. I identify more with like punk rock and hardcore punk and all that kind of stuff. But, metal is very important, of course. Aaron Drums is saying track 4 is the banger. Yeah, there's of the Future Machines stuff. They're all good. But track 4 is a banger. And Marauder Music is saying the SM57 challenge is, yes, multi-track. It has been done, and the results are startling. Oh, for sure. You can do a full record with just 157. I have done similar things. I remember recording, when I first got a 4-track, I only had one Radio Shack mic. It was a good sounding mic. It sounded a lot like a 57, or a 58 rather, which arguably sounds like a 57 if you just take the windscreen off. And, but yeah, when I first got a 4-track, a tape 4-track, this is a long time ago. I'm 50 years old, believe it or not. And when I first started with that, that's all I had. So I recorded the drums with just the one mic, and I just tried to find a spot, which is advantageous because recording the drums with one mic, and if you can get it sounding okay, you still have 3 tracks left for bass, guitar. So I did that a bunch, and I got pretty good results with it. Definitely not on par with the way that we produce music now, but if I did it multi-track in different ways and made music that favored the process, you could make really slick, like super high production music for sure. And Reed is saying, did I see that is basically, oh, okay, no. What am I missing here? I've never got Apoplexy is saying, never seen the divide or got the divide between punk and metal. Both are meant to exist together. Yeah, I think, thrash metal comes out of punk. So you had like the heavy metal movement and you had the punk movement, and then you had the 80s punk and hardcore punk happen and 80s thrash happen. And I think 80s thrash metal was punk influenced metal. Like, cause early thrash was pretty gnarly. And yeah, I think they're definitely one and the same, or come from a similar place of intensity and interest, like artistic interest and whatnot. Reed, he's saying that I'm a punk, got real bored with punk. I'm a punk that got real bored with that punk music. Yeah. I think every phase of music is easy to get bored of. I kind of skipped the UK stuff, the English stuff. I didn't really get into that, but I got into the US punk stuff. So Black Flag and Minor Threat and all that kind of stuff when that was happening, and then kind of followed things along, got into metal around the same time, like Anthrax and Testament and all that, Metallica. And then, I just kind of followed the journey of all of those things mixing together over the years. But still have a love affair with, the initial sort of American punk movement, like Bad Brains, early Bad Brains. Wow. Unreal. You had a Porter Studio. I also had the Porter Studio. Amazing. Marauder Music. Okay. Yeah, my first 4-track was a Porter Studio. Amazing. Very cool. So we're going to get through just a few more of these, a few of the OGs. So just as a reminder, I guess, some of our OG pals, we're going to kick it off with Mr. Stephen Barton. This is Ohio Faust. This is Stephen Barton's solo project. And we've probably played this before. I've played it before, but I don't know where I played it. But we're just going to go off the top here. Steven is so creative, and he does so many different things. I'm going to put that in the, we need, bam, back to the OBS, back to the camera, back to the browser, back to the panel. And yeah, always gotta pump Steven up. He just does so much, and he's so creative, and he's so inspiring. Oh, excuse me. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Close the Hatch. Very cool project. I've been listening to Close the Hatch quite a bit lately, just because it's in these Spotify playlists that I have. And they're the more somber, less guitar-y ones, if that's even a thing. 13 Flies says, have you heard Steven's new stuff, Mess of Vowels? Yes, I've been following Mess of Vowels for some time now. Great material. Everything he does is great. Just a really creative guy. We're going to queue up one more, or two more. Two more. And this is going to be kind of like a little segue. Bam. And of course, one of your fellow founding bandless folks, Nick Hill, and Stephen Barton together as one. I'm sure most of you know this. But for those of you who don't, it's a great piece of work. And Deny Yourself, we're going to play that one. Stephen singing, Nick Hill playing the guitar. Bandcamp Friday. Long intro. Great tune. Great singing as well. That's Stephen Barton again. What's up with that animal? Yeah. So don't forget about the Nick Hill. He's been crazy busy with his job, but he has been making a ton of music because he's been doing these videos. They're paid videos, like someone's commissioning him to do them for Cream City Music. For those of you who are wondering, like, whatever happened to Nick Hill is just like unbelievably busy. And the videos that he is making, he's making them for a music store in Milwaukee. And the side benefit of that is he's been writing a ton of material. He writes a new piece of music for almost every video, and not sure exactly what he's going to be doing with that music, but I expect that we'll see some new music from him released soon. There's going to be something that's going to shake out of that tree of all the music that he's created for for the Cream City videos. So yeah, very curious to see what Mr. Nick Hill does with all of that. We got one more for the night. One more Bandcamper. And this is one that I kind of frequently, talk about just because I think the story is amazing. A great example of why I sort of preach, like, I don't know. Do I preach? I guess I preach. But the whole, did I put it in there? No. Before I do anything, I'm going to put Nick's link in there. Did I put Steven's link in there? I think I'm kind of like behind on myself here. Behind on the details. Red Moth, got it. Okay. Nick Hill, Anoxia. Let's get that one. Let's get it in there before we forget. Bam, bam, bam. So that's Wells, that project that we were listening to. And it is a collab between Stephen Barton and Nick Hill. More material coming from Nick Hill in the months to come, I'm sure. And moving along, this is our last Bandcamp of the night, unless, I find something else. But I talk about this one a lot. I preach about this one a lot because this is Mostro from Argentina, Lucas Weisbrod. I met this fella, his name is Lucas, from Argentina, through the internet because I was doing these videos and he was interested in the baritone thing. And he reached out just to say like, hey, or whatever. And I can't remember exactly what the initial communication was, but he had something cool going on. And he was doing this music and it was so raw, so raw. He just had a loop that he found on the internet somewhere, some drum loop, and he was playing guitar to it, and it was raw. It was so unbelievably raw, not produced at all, not good tones, not even like great playing. Great playing. What the hell is that? But he had this incredible creativity going on. Like the ideas inside of what he had put together and he was sharing with me were really compelling. There was a little bit of bias there. I'll be totally honest. Like the kinds of movement and the kinds of melody that he had kind of put together were very much in the area of my personal interest. So it might not be interesting to everybody else, but it was very interesting to me. But I was like, man, you gotta push a little harder. You gotta really go for this. And I just kept, every time he would try something, I'd be like, yeah, and try and kind of help him navigate stuff a little bit. But to be completely fair, he did a ton of stuff on his own, a ton of work on his own. He wanted to do it as a band. It wasn't working out. And that's kind of where I really kind of leaned into it. I'm like, forget the band. You're talented or you're inspired and creative. I don't know what talent is. I don't think I should use that word so loosely. But he was definitely very creative, very inspired. I'm like, figure out a way to get it together and just get your music out and just keep putting it out. So he kept putting his music out. And he landed this thing where he got the attention of Lindsay O. I don't know how many of you know the story of Lindsay O'Connor. I'll leave it up to you to kind of follow the story, but she's a pretty decently known extreme metal vocalist. And she's very good and very creative and very interesting, especially if you like that kind of metal. And Lucas his metal is very, if you're interested in Gorguts and Sunless and Ulcerate and those kinds of things. I think those are like a good representation of what he does. But if you're interested in those kinds of things, that's what he does. We're going to listen to it in a second. Just the story is important because he just kept putting out music, and then it led him to somehow collaborating with this woman who is also very talented, who lives in a completely different country. She lives in Las Vegas, USA. He lives in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And then from there, even more has happened. Even more connections have formed and all these things. And he just kept being creative and kept getting it out there. Is he monstrously successful, making a ton of money? No, but it is definitely opening up the, paving a road for him. And his biggest problem when, being in Argentina was there were not a lot of people to work with in terms of music, especially he's interested in really kind of avant-garde metal, if that's a thing. We're going to listen to it now. I'm going to stop talking. But I think the story is really important, especially for Bandcamp Friday, because, constant creativity and constant output through the medium of Bandcamp. He also does Spotify and all of that stuff. But Bandcamp is really where he's, I think making his serious connections. And the stuff is all there for you to take advantage of, and take advantage. But I'm going to play a little bit of it. Oh, come on.
The marrow splits, and I become the horror, the terror, the ache, the disease, consume the day till I rise from beneath the castle, ever with the state.
I'm going to leave it there. It's a very progressive track, and it's a little bit longer, 8 minutes long. But it illustrates a point. The material is very niche and very, it's wild. And it doesn't matter. It's connected him to the rest of the world just by doing it and getting out there. To his credit, he is not afraid of connecting with people. That helps. He'll throw someone a DM and be like, "Hey, what's up? I like what you're doing. What's going on?" But he learned how to produce in doing this project. When I first started talking to him, he had no idea how to produce. That's 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. Like 3 years ago at max. I don't know the exact date, but it's recent history. And he went from not knowing anything to releasing a whole slew of albums and being like at the top of the pile in terms of really creative, really weird, progressive death metal. Is it death metal? I don't even know. Maybe it's beyond death metal. But I think it illustrates a point, and I think it's really important in terms of specifically for people who are kind of sitting there being like, I wish I could. And the answer is you can. And I wish I would have really understood it for myself earlier. For me, I was on the band path for so long, and I put so much effort into bands. And quite a long time ago, I could have put more effort into kind of doing it this way and then working with the bands after the fact. But anyway, it doesn't really matter how you want to do it. If you're hoping to want to do it, you can do it. The time has never been better. I'm going to switch the camera. That is it for tonight. Oh, look at that. It's the it's the YouTube analytics, YouTube back end. what's going on here? Bam. Bow, 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 bow. So I am going over here. What do we got for time? Hello, Mukreit. It's 10:42. What are you doing there, Mooks?
It's going
Appa. Appa. Marauder. Yeah, those were female vocals. And yeah, chicks can do whatever dudes can do, usually. And Tim Willard, I have not seen you in the stream yet today. Hope you're well. I can see my delayed stream. It's funny. It's me in the past, but not so far in the past. And apoplexia. Whoa, that is heavy. Yeah. Mostro is really heavy. Do I have the URL? Yeah, I do. There it is. Bam. And Marauder says, yeah, she was mind-blowing. Yeah, look up the story on Lindsay O. Her story is interesting because she's really driven. She just like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get involved with the most interesting things I can possibly. Like, she goes after these things, which is very interesting because a lot of people go after the thing that is the most watered down, which is very interesting. I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to get into that topic. It's pointless. But she goes after the most outside things, and it's kind of, it's working out in terms of her story is very interesting, and people are paying attention to what she's doing because she's doing these weird things, interesting things that, a lot of people are doing the same thing over and over again. So not that I want to beat that up. You should do whatever you want. If you want to do Black Flag covers or Ramones covers, that's what you should do. Ocho, you out? Man, have a good night, man. Yeah, super good to see you in the stream. Very cool. Orchard's album on Banger TV, really cool stuff. Warfletch, Ginger, Brutal Vox. Right, okay. Yeah, you guys are into whatever guys can do, chicks can do too. Usually as good, sometimes better. Like, it's just, some people are just better than other people at other things. But we're at this interesting time in history where I think there are more women like just saying F it and just going for it in spaces where women really didn't go for it, which is nice to see because I'm like, yeah, just go for it. But I think it was culturally difficult for women to just go for it in the past, but now the climate is such that, yeah, whoever you are, whatever you want to go and try and do, you can do, which is amazing, at least in North America. Thank goodness that we have the freedoms that we have here, because other places in the world, it's dark. Just, FYI. But anyway, yeah, that's the Bandcamp celebration tonight. A lot of great, work coming out from the bandless community, and otherwise. Yeah, great to see. I hope you guys are on track for the next Bandcamp Friday. We're going to do this all over again. It's going to be super fun. Sit down, listen to some tunes, have a few drinks, have some tea, whatever it is you want to do, eat some pizza. And yeah, awesome. What time are we at here? 10:47. We got about 10 minutes left in the stream. So we're going to just hang out in the comments. And yeah, Tim Willer, where you been? I guess I haven't been online. Because I've been very head down and just like bam, bam, bam. On my own channel, I've been doing like videos every week. And also now I produce videos for this channel, like produced videos. I got a few to get up over this coming month. But on top of that, I'm writing more music. So it means not hanging out on the internet as much. So for those of you that we're not interacting as much as in the past, I apologize because I do enjoy hanging out a lot. But I know myself how many of you are guilty as charged. I can blow a few hours on Discord, on Facebook, Baritone Obsessed group, on, hanging out in live streams. I can do that very easily. So I have to be very calculated in terms of how I spend my time. Not sure how many of you guys are, have to block it out. It's like from here to here, this is what I'm doing. I'm working on guitars for this stuff, or I'm scripting, or I'm shooting talking head, or I'm shooting B-roll, or I'm mixing, or I don't know, whatever you're doing. Do you have to block out your time and like sit down and be like, nothing else is happening in this time? I have to do that, or otherwise it's not going to happen. Beard Guy, great to see you, man. Take off and have an amazing, rest of your night. I don't know where you're taking off to, but take off and to the greatest place in life, the Great White North. And I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I hope you have a good night, man. 13 Flaws says, most success stories are about those that were doing their own thing rather than trying to appease to the masses. Absolutely true. This has been coming up a lot lately, and I think it's been echoed a great deal in a lot of recent documentaries. I've been recently I've been watching a lot more documentaries, and quite a few of them are music-oriented documentaries. And this seems to be true, what 13 Flaws is saying, in terms of every single person who made waves in any kind of cultural space, whether it be music, visual art, movies, whatever. It's always the person who's doing something else, something that is not quite like everybody else. They're doing sort of their own thing. So highly advantageous if you can find a space like that for yourself that you are interested in and inspired by, and, trying to kind of reach outside of the status quo. And you could be wanting to reach back in time for influence or ahead in time for influence. The influences could be non-musical or whatever, a different discipline. But yeah, reaching outside typically gets you a little bit further. Or you fail utterly. And for me, I'd rather fail utterly than to gain some popularity as a facsimile of something else, if that makes sense. So I try. I don't know if I succeed, but I definitely try. Bam, 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 bam. I had a track, Bunn. It was all done with only Linux. It's free like Linux. Do you have your track up? I'm gonna go get it. Bandcamp. I just want Bandcamp. Bam. There we go. Marauder Music. Oh, this is your fan page. Damn it. Cosman. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Here we go. Here we go. Right. There we go. It should just come up. Everything's spelled right. All that kind of stuff. Kind of like Linux. My music is free. Kind of like Linux is free. That's amazing. Here we go. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I don't want the fan account. Here we go. No. What is going on? This is not hard. Artist, Marauder. Here we go. Bam. Linux edition. Oh, amazing. Okay. This is actually a great story. So we're going to switch cameras here. This is going to send us out. So for those of you who are not familiar with Marauder Music, recently the Cosman is the man behind Marauder Music. He decided to go, I think you were gifted or something like that, a mini PC. And he's like, oh, what can I do with this mini PC? So he decided to install Linux on it. And he's like, oh, I wonder what I can do in terms of music with Linux. So he got the Linux machine working to a favorable degree. He got Reaper working in an awesome way, found Urgitone drums and got that working in a great way, and also a guitar platform. I can't remember the name of the guitar platform. You can include it in the comments. But it is 100% Linux, and it's sort of like a turning point in the history of music production, because we can it's more accessible, I guess is the best way to put it. But we're going to play a little bit and we can talk about it a little bit more. Amazing. Cos, you're a really good guitar player. It never ceases to amaze me. Like, killer leads, man. Killer. So, am I changed cameras? Yes, I did. Sorry. But back to the chat. So yeah, all Linux. It's 100% Linux. The tune is free to download. Great job, Mr. Cosman, Marauder Music. GFX, what is it? ToneLib GFX is the VST platform for the guitars, the guitar amps. Sounds really great. Unbelievable. And 13 Flaws could do a bandless vid on navigating Bandcamp. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Marauder Music shared a little bit here in the chat. Used only Linux and Linux guitar plugin in Reaper and Urgitone drums. And Pirate Metal, yeah, ToneLib GFX guitar plugin. Right. But it's amazing what is available to us now. And I think, Marauder, you kind of approached this more as like a curiosity at first, but I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is going to be your principal setup. This is what you're going to focus on using going forward, which I think is fantastic. And I think I'm really curious to know more. As I was mentioning, I was talking with Marauder earlier in the Bandless Discord group. And I was saying, yeah, I think the world could use some videos on getting ready, not getting ready, but getting going, I guess, with Reaper and Linux. How do you set that up? How do you get a interface interface working with, Reaper and Linux? Because traditionally Linux was this thing with jack audio and routing. There was a lot of challenges. Before. So he's got it all sorted out and it's sounding really good. And I'm sure a lot of people are really curious to know what you discovered, what it's all about. I would like to know. Hope you do some videos on it. And then 13 Flaws says, could you do a bandless video on navigating Bandcamp? Yeah, I can do a video. I will do it from, uploading, like the whole process and everything, all of the features involved that you might want to take advantage of. Because I think there's a lot of things that people skip over, and there's things that I have messed up before that are important to know about. Like, I always upload singles as an album, but you have to make sure to make the album price, it will default to a higher price and all these sorts of things. There's a bunch of things to know. So I can totally make that video for this channel, and I will. And I'm not sure when it will go up, but it will go up before the next Bandcamp Friday. So if you're looking to participate in the Bandcamp thing and you want to kind of maximize how you use Bandcamp, already there is a video on this channel about customizing your Bandcamp. So I definitely start there. And if you have any questions, jump in the Discord group and you can ask questions and people will help you out. And hopefully I will notice that you're there. I'm going to put an invite here to the, copy, hidden, use copy button. Great. It's because we're in streaming mode. Is enabled. Stay safe, friend. Thanks, Discord, for looking out for me. But this is the Discord link for anyone who is not a member of the Discord. This is the Bandless Discord. Jump in there. If you're having trouble with getting things set up, reach out and one of us will help you. And Marauder is saying, yes, his platform going forward is Linux based 100%. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to shut it down here. What time is it? 11 on the button. So we're going to shut it down. Thank you to everybody for hanging out tonight. And, the huge thanks to everybody with us over at the old, what do you call it? Patreon. Thanks to everyone with us at Patreon. I couldn't see it anywhere. I'm like, what am I looking at? It's Patreon. Thank you to everyone with us at Patreon. They are the ones who make this all happen. But otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. Another amazing Bandcamp Friday, and we're going to do it again next month. But otherwise, we're going to be hanging out in the Discord, so we'll convene there. And have a good time. Have a good night. I'm not sure.